Okay, we gotta address something here today. I'm at work reading some comments on social media, and I needed to just walk out to the car here to make this quick video. I'm talking about the Q50 today, even though we're sitting in the Corvette. I recently posted a draggy clip of myself making an 1/8 mile pull in the Q50, the one and only 1/8 mile pull that I ever made and ever recorded in that car. So this clip everywhere, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and also TikTok. Sorry, it sounded like I'm a little bit heated here, but people drive me crazy. Comments on Instagram and YouTube were just kind of normal, basic, you know, what did you record this on? What's your quarter mile time? Blah, blah, blah. TikTok video, however, with over 10,000 views, I got about 150 comments. Some of them were okay and similar to the others. You know, what was this recorded on draggy? What was your quarter mile time? Of course, not too bad, looks pretty good. What do you have done to the car? Etc., etc. However, there were a few that clearly just did not read the post. I want to reiterate here, guys, that this was the first and only time I ever attempted an 1/8 mile pull, a full 1/8 mile pull in this car. First of all, I live sort of in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains or the Blue Ridge Mountains. There are very few straight, flat roads, especially where you can get up to speed. So you can see in the video clip, the road conditions are awful. Now, this is where I do some of the pulls. I mostly just do 0 to 60s there. But the car was struggling to gain traction, and I was forced to launch the car at a dead idle. I mean, literally take the foot off the brake and hit the gas pedal. I wasn't able to bring the RPM up at all. And even from a dead idle, the car was fighting for traction. Let's point out here too, that the car did a even under that condition, the car did a 5.02 0 to 60, which isn't bad, and an 8.62 1/8 mile. The first mistake people are making is they didn't read the post. They're not seeing it was a dead idle launch. They're not seeing that it was the only time I've ever run an 1/8 mile pull in this car. So to assume that it's the best the car is capable of is just dumb. The car has run consistently. I have videos on my YouTube channel of the car running 4.9 seconds 0 to 60s. The best time I've ever run is like an 4.84 or something like that. The car's consistently at 4.86, 4.85, 4.87. The car is consistently under 4.9 0 to 60. That's not bad for a VQ37 with just drop-in filters and exhaust and a tune. I gotta say too that this pull was made before the installation of the Z1 Motorsports rear diff bushing kit and before the installation of Traction Concepts LSD conversion kit. It did something like 2.18 60-foot time. That's not terrible, but the car has gone faster than that, 2.0 or 2.08, something like that. And again, the 0 to 60 is consistently under 4.9, and this did a 5.02. So just right out of the gate, the car could potentially go 0.2 faster in the 1/8 mile if you just kind of do the math there, or better. Get us down to like an 8.45 or 8.40 1/8 mile time, which was really, really actually good, and probably trap it a couple of mile per hour faster. With this being the only 1/8 mile pull that I ever made in this car, there wasn't time to make adjustments or figure out what worked best, and I think I was using paddle shifters in this particular instance. I might have done a little bit of a late shift going from first to second to try to pull all the RPM out of it, and again, struggling with traction, just kind of doing what the car was able to do on that given day. So again, to think that this is the best, the 8.62 is the best 1/8 mile time that this car was capable of, that's just dumb. But I wish everybody would read the post. And I'm not saying this to most of you all watching this video now, because the comments, the normal comments, were coming from people like you that understand the platform, that don't have unreasonable expectations. The other people that are saying, aren't those stock numbers? Well, no, stock numbers 0 to 60 is a 5.2. Who knows what the 1/8 mile time is? I don't think they give us that, but probably high 8s, right? 8.8, 8.9. But to think that you're going to do some basic bolt-ons, even full bolt-ons on this VQ37 platform and do, you know, 4.5 seconds 0 to 60s or faster, or, you know, 8 flat 1/8 mile times, you're insane. We're talking about a car that's making 335 horsepower, 285 foot-pounds of torque. It's not going to be a drag racing straight line monster. I've said this a million times, and people get so pissed off when I talk about bolt-ons not having a huge impact on this car. It is what it is. It's never going to be super fast. That's why my Q50 was set up to do the twisty roads. You know, enjoy the car in the high RPM range, hitting the corners, because it's not it's not super fun to drive in a straight line because, you know, you're not blowing anybody's doors off, although you're faster than 90% of cars out there on the road. And that's the other thing I need to mention. These people with the A3s and the S3s or the Stingers commenting, talking about how slow they are, slow AF, or the VQ is super slow, or talking about racing me and there's no way you can beat me with the 8.3. You know, no one is claiming that. No one is claiming that. I was not claiming that the car was fast. It was the 8th mile, the only 8th mile pull I ever made in that car, and I thought I would share the numbers. I said, in no way did I project the idea that it was super fast or really impressive. All I said was, first 8th mile pull that I've made, fighting for traction, not too bad of a time. Was pretty pleased with the result, considering. Which is all true. The VQ is not going to compete with an all-wheel drive S3 or a tuned all-wheel drive A3 and a turbo Stinger. Of course not. You're comparing apples to oranges here. Sure as hell would take the reliability and the quality of the Q50 over a Stinger. Some Honda kid makes a comment about couldn't afford an Alphabet car, so settled for a Q. I really don't. I couldn't understand the English that was used. But you have a Honda. Seriously, a true understanding of the platform and reasonable expectations would solve a lot of this confusion with this video and answer and address all of the comments that were made on this little video clip. Going full bolt-ons in a tune, you know, adding intakes, test pipes, exhaust, all of the diff bushings and even the LSD kit. To think that you're going to take a half a second or more, a full second off of 0 to 60 time, that's just an unreasonable expectation in the first place. Do you know how hard it is to take a second off of 0 to 60 time in a naturally aspirated car where doing all the bolt-ons you can even think of is going to maybe get you 60 wheel horsepower over the factory numbers? 1 second in 0 to 60, reducing your 0 to 60 by 1 second is huge. 5.2 0 to 60 second from the factory going down to 4.9, we'll even say. That's 0.3 of a second. 0.3 in such a short distance. That's a pretty massive gain just from drop-in filters, exhaust, and a tune. That is a big difference. Not to mention that I've added heavier sport brakes, and I've added some aero, with the big duckbill spoiler, the side splitters, the chin splitter. All of that stuff adds drag and downforce and friction, which slows the car down. I've talked about that in another video as well. If I stripped all that stuff off and put my base brakes back on and reduce a little bit of the additional weight that's in the car, I'm sure we could go even faster. But you guys, people just don't seem to understand how things work, or they have these crazy expectations that doing a couple bolt-ons and tuning this car, you're going to drop a full second off your 0 to 60. Yeah, if you're a turbo car and you're increasing your horsepower by 100 or 150 and adding 150 foot-pounds of torque, yeah, you might pull a second off there. But 50 wheel horsepower is not going to cut a second off your 0 to 60, and certainly not going to cut 2 seconds off your 8th mile time. It's just people just don't understand how these things work. Sorry to go all rambly on you and get all fired up, but I was reading some of these comments. I'm like, these people just don't know what they're saying. They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know the platform, clearly. They're comparing apples to oranges, thinking they're comparing apples to apples, and their expectations are so out of line with reality, it's unbelievable. So I just needed to jump on here and make a little quick video, but I appreciate all of you guys following along, all of you longtime subscribers and supporters, all of you that understand this platform and realize that we're sort of limited in the VQ37, and we have to enjoy the car for what it is. And we also understand that compared to literally every car that I'm sitting next to in this parking lot, I could beat 0 to 60 and a quarter mile with my Q50. And most of the cars that I'm going to encounter on the road on my way home from work, I'm going to beat in those same races in my Q50. 90% of the vehicles that we come across on the road, the Q50 is faster than, even in stock form. But when you go bolt-ons in a tune, you're even just that much faster. But, you know, are you keeping up with an S3? No. Are you keeping up with an M3? No. Are you keeping up with a tuned 335i? No. A tuned VR30? No, of course not. These are reasonable expectations. We understand these things. Some people don't, unfortunately. And maybe they'll see this video and they'll think, oh yeah, I was being a moron. I doubt it, but hopefully. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.